The Winter Park Chamber of Commerce brings people and ideas together to strengthen our businesses and community. With more than 800 members, we often hear about the challenges of a multi-generational workforce, where boomers to Gen Z work side by side but don't always connect. Our goal is to bridge that divide and build connection by sharing their lived perspectives and values. What we learned may surprise you and challenge what you think you know about generations in the workplace.
My name is Alice Christner.
I'm Anthony Diaz.
I'm Landra Warmack.
I am Mercedes McCall.
And I'm a baby boomer. I feel like baby boomers are always blamed for having the same monolithic thoughts. We are not all cookie cutter.
I am the only child of an elderly couple that grew up surrounded by family in a small town in Havana, Cuba. So I was raised pretty much as an adult.
My mother was a school teacher and a principal, and my father was a salesman.
Most of my time was being outside and playing, and it was a great place to do that.
Definitely work was extremely important.
No, my parents believed in hard work. They both worked. They were both very smart. My mom especially, I'll just be honest with you, she was so smart. And she worked her whole life. Work was always something that we were taught that you would do. My parents expected us to do our chores around the house. We earned our money by mowing lawns, but everybody cleaned the house on Saturdays. It was just, everybody worked.
My parents talked a lot about work ethic. You're really not working for the person you're working for. You're actually working, and God is looking down on heaven and watching you. So you need to do a good job.
The idea was that you had to do it right the first time. I can remember wanting to work at the restaurant, and Dad would have me balance my apron each time that I waited on someone, just like if I was another employee.
So my first job was working for a candy store to insert the Sunday papers. Taught me to get up really early on Sunday morning, which I was not thrilled about, but I was happy with getting paid.
People don't think about the chores and things that they're required to do around the house. But my first job was actually chores. If we did our chores at home, our parents actually would reward us for our chores.
I went to work 5 days a week with my dad, and I was in 6th grade when I did that.
Loyalty means to truly be part of the DNA of the company that you work with. You have to feel and be passionate about what you do. If not, you're not going to enjoy or be good at what you do.
It's almost like I have this inner thing in me that says, you know what, you're not satisfied anymore. It's time for you to do something different. My current position I've been in for 10 years, and I've done 10 plus years at a few jobs. So once I'm there, I'm very, very committed to what I do.
So early on, loyalty was big for a lot of reasons. I think it was a reciprocal relationship between either employees or consumers and companies. Now you have an unbelievable amount of choices. You have 12 different Diet Cokes and just so many different things to choose from. And I think what that taught me is what's really important to me. If I like a particular flavor, I like the flavor. It doesn't matter what company is. I'm not as loyal to a particular brand because now I have choices that I didn't have before, and now I'm kind of looking at it as that's not my responsibility.
That idea of loyalty is to me very important, whether it's going to be loyalty for 3 years or loyalty for 30 years. It's the same thing. It's the same commitment. Circumstances happen. You have to be ready to pivot, but you can always give that same level of concentration and value to who you work for or who you work with.
I remember I was 9 years old, and it had a huge impact when I watched on TV the assassination of Robert Kennedy.
Well, I actually grew up in the days of Nixon. And I remember when sugar got to be outrageously expensive. And my mother literally boycotted sugar. Now, how we did that, when I think about that now, because it was such a staple for so many foods and so many things that we did. We were big Kool-Aid drinkers, like so many people back in the day. The Kool-Aid man was really popular, that commercial, and my mother literally would not buy sugar until those prices went down.
One of the events that I wish I didn't remember was when the militia came in to our restaurant and indicating that that location was no longer owned by us, but it was for the people.
Vietnam was going on through that whole time. My family, we were so fortunate that none of the young men in our family, although a couple of them had draft numbers, they were never called up. And that was truly the luck of the draw, because I know so many families that had young men that went and served and unfortunately lost their lives.
We didn't grow up with the same technology. We grew up with Atari and Nintendo, and there really wasn't this emphasis on high tech. That was about as high tech as you got it, Pong and things like that, that help with reflexes. But the kids now are growing up with cell phones and computers and high technologies.
I admire that they are not afraid to face any opportunity at the office. But if I want to continue to work in this world of today, I have to understand them and take the time to explain who I am so that they also learn to understand me.
They really bounce back pretty easy, and that is a positive trait in life. You can't get caught up with things.
You have to work hard, you have to try, you have to be respectful to other people.
I want them to continue to think outside of the box, just like they're doing, because nothing stays the same. So continue to think outside of the box and continue, but also understand that don't throw away the generations in the past, because they do have things that they can teach you and that you can learn from.
I really enjoy learning, and even at my age and what I do, and even though I've done it for the last 20 years, I'm still learning. I'm learning all the time, and I like that.
All it needs is a little light to shine on, and we've already had that through all of our existence, and I know that they have what it takes to keep that light shining.
The advice that I would give to the younger generation is keep moving.
I hope that when my grandson, who's now 7, makes it to the workplace, it will be a much better, even world that it is today. That opportunities continue to enhance the path so that he can enjoy life maybe a little better than I have.
What does Gen X get blamed for? Probably being angry all the time. But I don't think, I say that jokingly. I think it's because we're independent thinkers. And we're not stuck on an Excel spreadsheet. We've already tried to figure it out ourselves, and we just go ahead and we make it happen in our own way. It doesn't necessarily conform to the generation before us or after us.